Hi there, it's Melissa here from MCB Creations, and today I'd like to talk to you about your cover letter. Not all roles require a cover letter, but yours just might be asking you for a resume and a cover letter. Sometimes it can be really difficult to produce a really great cover letter when you've already provided so much information in your resume. However, here's a couple of tips that could help you through. The first tip that I have is, depending on the industry you're working in and what they require in your cover letter, is to keep it short. You should structure it like an actual letter where you have the details of the person and up the top and yourself, the date in particular, and the role that you're applying for. Then you can go into the body of your cover letter. Hopefully you've already written your resume. So my greatest tips for writing your cover letter are to have a look at what the role is actually asking you for. Have a look side by side your role against your resume and see if there's anything that matches up. It's a really great idea to highlight the skills and attributes that you have as an individual that you have been able to gain from previous roles that really address the criteria within the role description. If you refer specifically to your current role and say exactly what you've done and how that links up with what they're asking for, they will see that you are one of the greatest candidates for the role. An important thing to remember when you're responding is to use the STAR method, which stands for situation, task, action, and result. I'll go more into that in another video that I'll link below. However, your cover letter should have plenty of white space and should be in the same font as your resume. Hopefully, they are a very simple to read font and a good size to read as well. As you would have seen in my previous video regarding how to write your resume, which I'll also link below, having lots and lots of resumes to read when you're on a selection panel is really difficult, especially when they're in a very small font and the margins are teeny tiny on either side. So have lots of white space. I prefer Arial or Calibri for my font, and I prefer about a size 10 is really good for most people to read. Some of us need to read them on a hard copy if we're on a selection panel. That's just the way that they provide it to us. If they're in a soft copy, we can zoom in. But you really need to think about the readability, and it's similar to having a teacher mark an exam. If it's difficult to read, it's difficult to mark. So we need to make sure that it's easy to read so the people on our panel can move through our work and make sure that we are fit for the role that we're applying for. In the cover letter, I also like to address any key points that the company is asking for. So for example, it might be the ability to work on a 24/7 roster, the ability to travel, the ability to work weekends and public holidays, those types of things. It's a great idea to, at the very bottom in your last paragraph, explain these are the things that I'm able to do. These are some relevant qualifications perhaps. So it might be that you need to be first aid qualified, and you don't need to go into the detail of what you learned during your first aid, but you do need to note it there. And then always supply your contact details. So it might be an email address, definitely a phone number, and hopefully your address is up the top on the right hand side of the page. Make sure you sign it and have your name at the bottom, and then it should be attached to your resume and either sent as an electronic package or in person or in hard copy to the company. Hopefully, with all of that information, you're able to develop a really good looking cover letter, and I'll go into the detail of what it should include in the next video. Talk to you soon.